Yes, it's John G. Sutton here. Tales from the jails. Today I've been answering a specific request. Somebody in the comments on one of my previous broadcasts requested that I speak about Dartmoor, which is somewhere I've not spoken about before, so I will do. And Dartmoor Prison on Dartmoor in Cornwall, Devon, Cornwall, that area, it's in Cornwall actually. Yeah, it's actually owned by the Duchy of Cornwall. The actual land and all that is owned by the Duchy of Cornwall. It was actually commissioned in 1806, when it was built by local... No, 1809 it was commissioned. It started building in 1806. It was built by local labour from the area around that part of the world. It was built to hold prisoners from the Napoleonic Wars, believe it or not. Yeah, it was. There were sailors and what have you been captured during the battle against Napoleon, and they were held inside the prison during the Napoleonic Wars. Subsequently, in 1813, during battles with America, the USA, Dartmoor Prison in 1813 to 1815 was used to hold inmates, prisoners taken by the Royal Navy off the American ships. And it did hold, over the period of time, over 6,000 prisoners during that 2-year period. Yeah, and they were inmates taken from the War of 1812, during which time, for all those of you who are historically minded, Britain set fire to the White House, which was at the time not white. It was painted blue. But when we set fire to it and attacked, in Washington, the troops, the British troops attacked the capital in America and set fire to it. It was painted blue. Subsequently, when they rebuilt it, they painted it white. And since then, it's been known as the White House, Pennsylvania Avenue. Yeah. Dartmoor Prison, infamous. I mean, there's an old song about it, isn't there? Down in Dartmoor jail, where they hang you on a nail. There's lots of further verses, of course, which are not particularly edifying. Something about when your balls hang low, they will swing 'em to and fro, or tie 'em in a knot or in a bow. Cha-cha-cha. I told you it wasn't very edifying. Anyway, it's been featured in numerous TV programmes, and strangely enough, the character Dirty Den from EastEnders, played by Leslie Grantham, who I'd previously encountered at Wormwood Scrubs, during his acting part, played a prisoner who went to Dartmoor. I should imagine he very quickly fell into that role. Yeah. Also, it's featured in. Have you ever seen the film The Hound of the Baskervilles, based on a story by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle about Sherlock Holmes going to Dartmoor to find out to protect the Lord of the Manor, who was being terrorised by a mysterious hound that legend would have it ripped and murdered all his family. Anyway, there was a escaped prisoner from Dartmoor featured in that. Yeah. It was shut shortly after the American sailors were discharged, and it was reopened in 1850 and used by the government, the Home Office of the government, to hold imprisoned criminals. Notorious criminals there include Haig, John Christopher Haig, I believe it was, yeah. It was the acid bath murderer. The Frank Mitchell, the mad axeman who was broken out of Dartmoor by the Cray twins. They have to break him out too difficultly. He was working on an outdoor party. They just turned up, or they sent somebody in a van and said, get in the van, and off he went. That was it. That was how he escaped, Frank Mitchell. Didn't get him climbing over the wall or anything like that. No. If you've ever been to Dartmoor, it's quite a gloomy place. And listen, I've been there, and the prison officers live in, or they did live in, housing surrounded the prison that was provided by the government. And you can imagine living virtually at the side of the walls of Dartmoor. So you're working in there in the day, and at night you sat at home, relaxing in your garden, looking at the big walls, the 16-foot high walls of Dartmoor Jail. Yeah. My former client and an ex-long-term inmate, Mark Leach, the man who started the prison's handbook and also was one of the founding members of the charity Unlock alongside Stephen Fry. He was in Dartmoor and staged a rooftop protest there where he managed to get a little tent, and he put the tent up on the roof of the jail in Dartmoor, yeah? And that's where he stayed for 3 days, lashing rain, freezing cold. He was there. They'd been holding him in segregated conditions, you see, and he objected to that. Mark Leach. There's a museum in the actual village of Princetown. That's where the prison is located. And you can go and have a look around there, and it shows all the different uniforms that the prison staff wore. I went in there and had a look when I was up in Cornwall on holiday once, and they've got reasonably modern. Well, they had uniforms like I used to wear, and that's the cap badge that Can you see that? That's my old cap badge. Yeah. From when I was a jailer. Now then, guys and gals. Who's that? That pervert bloody Jimmy Savile, innit? Yes, it's the song dinger, but I'm going to read you a poem. Yeah. We've had lots of poems, haven't we? Yeah. So that you are. I did answer the questions about Dartmoor. Today it's a Category C prison, so it's not holding the most dangerous prisoners in Britain. That's left for the likes of Strangeways and Wormwood Scrubs and Wandsworth and Armley Jail and Wakefield and what do they call Wakefield? Monster Mansion. Yeah, anyway, this is a poem that I wrote about a town that I used to live in called Leigh, 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 near Wigan in the county of Lancashire, or what was Lancashire before they buggered around with the borders. And this is me imagining that the Prime Minister visited Leigh. And as we've got a new Prime Minister that doesn't drink, it certainly wouldn't be this one. It would not be Rishi Sunak, no. But this is called The Prime Minister's Visit to Leigh. I'll read it in a Lancashire accent, by the way. Yeah? The sun was shining on the cut. In the pubs the beer was free. The day the Prime Minister visited the town of Leigh. He walked a bit down Bradshawgate. At Woolies he bought some snap. He had a pint in George and Dragon. He seemed a gradely chap. Down Plonk Lawn he did wander, and supped at Labour Club. then caught a bus to Butts Bridge and tried 2 more in Wheatsheaf pub, then on to the Boundary Boozer, where he ordered another beer. The Prime Minister seemed happy as he drank from the cup of cheer, but Town Council weren't delighted, watching the PM get smashed. They wanted to talk politics, get round to grabbing cash. Prime Minister, he just chuckled, enjoying his Tetley spree. He'd come all the way from London to sink a few in Lee. At midnight, skinny, cut dipping, bare naked on Mather Lane Bridge, a famous Lee tradition where the PM was, well, average. Next morning, did he regret it? The Prime Minister could barely see, but he'd certainly done some supping the day that he visited Lee. There you go. The Prime Minister's visit to Lee. Read in a ridiculous, twangy accent. I sincerely hope you liked that. Yeah, don't forget, have a look at my book. Yeah, HM Prison Officer, John G. Sutton. That's my name there. Yeah, it's doing quite well actually. Get it on Amazon. I'll put a link below to my book. Okay, happy days.